Go.
Okay. Our mission. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents to become shining light parents by providing support and resources to aid in the healing process. We go a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and evidence for the afterlife in a non-dogmatic way. Affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background. Attendance today at this meeting is voluntary, and we are here for the benefit of learning from and sharing with other parents whose child has passed away. It is understood that our discussions are intended to be confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. However, these Zoom meetings are helpful to parents all around the world, and they are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members who are not able to attend this meeting live can also watch. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers to allow parents to be informed about many possible ways to heal, to connect with their children, and to learn about the afterlife. The views expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect those of Helping Parents Heal, and we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Welcome, everyone. We're so glad that you're here, and thank you, Martin, so much for being here with us today.
Yes, we are thrilled to have Martin here, and I'll read his very short bio just so that you know a little bit more about him. Martin Twycross is a spiritualist, medium, and teacher based in the UK with a passion for demonstrating survival and helping others to unfold their mediumistic abilities. He runs a mediumship teaching channel on YouTube and has developed many teaching videos, courses, and an affordable study program to help others to develop their mediumship. Martin has been a working medium since 2003 and has been teaching mediumship since 2006. He holds CSNU awards in demonstrating mediumship and public speaking from the Spiritualists National Union. Martin undertook the majority of his own training over a 10-year period at the prestigious Arthur Findlay College in the UK. He successfully completed the AFC tutor training scheme in 2013 and is an approved tutor of the college. His website is www.martintwycross.com, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat box. And his store is www.martintwycrossproducts.co.uk. So I'll put both of those in the chat box. But without further ado, please join me in welcoming Martin Twycross. Welcome, Martin.
Hi, everybody, and thank you, Elizabeth, for that lovely introduction, and Irene for your introduction. It's my second time with you at Helping Parents Heal, and it's always a pleasure to be able to work in this way and connect with people and help. It's always a joy to do that. So I thought I'd begin with this evening by talking a little bit about connecting to your children in spirit. So the perspective I come from, obviously, is as a medium. I'm a UK medium. I know mediumship in the US can be very different. I know from teaching US students that ideas there are very different. We're very down to earth, pragmatic and practical in the UK, or at least I am. And we're not prone to airy-fairy things. I don't channel archangels or any of that sort of stuff. My job as a medium is to link with those in the spirit world and reunite loved ones. That's my job. And, as I say, my approach to it is a practical approach, a down-to-earth approach. That's the strap line of my YouTube channel. Practical down-to-earth teachings on mediumship without the fluff. That's what I tend to bring when I'm talking. So if you think it doesn't sound like other mediums you know in the US, that's probably why. So connecting to your children in the spirit world, and this equally applies to connecting to all of your loved ones in the spirit world. The simple thing is to connect with them, all you have to do is think of them. All you have to do is communicate with them. All you have to do is send out your thoughts, your words, and they will hear. They will be aware of it. When you're thinking of them, that resonates out and they become aware of it, almost like a radio wave. It resonates out and they hear your thoughts. They're aware of your communication. They're aware of your thoughts. So it sounds ever so easy, doesn't it? To communicate with your loved ones in the spirit world, you just talk to them. You just send your thoughts to them. But that's the truth. They hear our thoughts. They are aware of what we're thinking. And when they draw close to us, they see in our energy field how we've been thinking. They see in our energy field what's going on in our lives. They see within our auras, our energy fields, what's uppermost in our minds, what we're thinking of. So when we think of them, it draws them close. But you may say, well, that's all very well. I'm sending my thoughts to them, but I'm not hearing back from them. I'm not receiving it in return. Why am I not receiving it in return? Now, some of you may be aware of your children's presence when you think of them, when you send out your thoughts to them. You may feel them drawing close. You may feel their presence, but others may not. And really, it comes down to the degree of awareness that you have, your natural awareness. As mediums, we train ourselves to learn to develop and connect to the spirit world. And I'll explain that. Before I started training as a medium, I had no awareness or connection to spirit whatsoever. I didn't believe necessarily that that was possible. So if you feel that you're not really experiencing a connection with spirit, it doesn't mean that you're not. It just means that there's some degree of development to do. There's some degree of unfoldment to do. We need to develop our mediumistic abilities, our psychic awareness. Mediumship functions through the subconscious mind, which is where our imagination sits. The connection to spirit works from there. It's a feeling, it's an imagery thing. It's not generally a communication within our minds. We don't generally have a conversation with spirit, much as we would love to. When I'm working as a medium, I'm not talking to them, they're not talking to me. I send my thoughts to them and I receive information that comes back to me, either as feelings, as imagery, as pictures, as thoughts, but very, very rarely as words within my mind. And, you know, there's often an image of a medium having this conversation. Who are you? Our mum. How old were you when you passed? Oh, I was 32. And it's not like that. I wish it was as easy as that. I really do. It'd be so much more easy to do a demonstration. But we become aware of somebody. We feel their energy. We sense their age. We feel their age. We sense their personality. They may superimpose their passing conditions upon us. And that's how mediumship works. So for you to become aware of the presence of your loved ones with no development whatsoever, you may be one of the lucky few who has some degree of natural awareness, some degree of natural ability, and you can feel them. I believe everyone can feel them to a degree. So lucky few is probably not the right wording, but those who can really feel their loved ones close very well, that means you have a relatively reasonable level of awareness. But for some people, they don't have that. And of course, how do you get that degree of awareness? You can develop it. You can go into development classes, development courses, and you can learn to develop the psychic and mediumistic awareness, and you can become more aware of your loved ones in spirit. I know many people who've come through my classes just solely so they can feel closer to their loved ones in the spirit world, closer to their children in spirit on occasions as well. And also we can be aware of their presence through strange coincidences, through strange occurrences. You may find that items of yours disappear and then reappear especially when you ask. And you may find as well that we were speaking earlier, you get strange electronic phenomena going on. Things don't work properly, or the lights flicker, something's going on. And you say, is that you? Are you doing that to the lights? And then it happens even more until you acknowledge them. And when you acknowledge them, it may begin to settle down. So, or you may be just inspired to turn the TV on at that moment in time. And as you do, your loved one's name is spoken, or something comes forward that is a reminder of them. So we've got these different ways of becoming aware of their presence. But you can go into development to learn to connect that little bit more with your loved ones as well. It's important to recognize that. And we can meet our loved ones. You can meet your children in your dreams. I would say it has to be spontaneous. You can't create it though. And how do you know that meeting them in the dreams was real? And this is a problem people say to me often, well, they're often in my dreams, but how do I know that I actually was with them and it was genuine? And the answer is the dream feels different. The answer is it's profound. It has an effect on you. It stays with you. It lasts for some time afterwards. That's the difference I have. Sometimes I'm aware of my loved ones, my dreams. It's like, well, was that real or was it not? Was that the creation of my own mind, which is quite possible, of course. But other times I've met them, I feel I've met them, I wake up and it's all in my mind. It doesn't fade instantly like a lot of dreams. And it stays with me for the day or the week. And that's when I know that, yes, that's when I know they were there. But as I say, it's spontaneous. We can ask them to come, but there's no guarantees. It's always spontaneous. And then there are tools we can use to connect. When we're in development circles, when we're doing development classes, there's tools we can use to help connect you to spirit. Maybe meditations. And as you develop your awareness, we make time to sit and blend with the spirit world. And so the good news is I've got a meditation I would like to do with you this evening, which I will do at the end of the talk. And we'll do that. It's a meditation to meet your loved ones in spirit, but for you guys, it's a meditation to meet your children in spirit. And it's a meditation that I've done many, many times. I know we've got some quite profound results with. So I'd be interested to see if you get benefit from it too. So that's tools to connect, but it's really, you can go online and find many meditations from different people with, meditations to meet your guides, meditations to meet your loved ones. And that's what I mean by tools. It's effectively, it's a focused tool to create a result. And then of course you can seek out a medium. You can look for somebody like myself who is a medium and go to a medium in the hope of connecting to your loved ones. And I say the hope of connecting to your loved ones deliberately. I don't say so that you can connect with your loved ones, because whenever we go to a medium for a reading, or we go to a gallery reading or a demonstration of mediumship, there are no guarantees. I would love to be able to guarantee to bring through the communicators people want, but there are no guarantees. And one question people ask me is, well, do all mediums work with children? If I've lost a child, will all mediums bring through children? And depending upon their age as well. So whether we're talking a young child, maybe below the age of 10, versus an older child in their teens, versus in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And the simple answer is that some mediums work more with children than others. Some mediums work a lot more with children than others, especially those mediums who've lost children themselves. They know what it's about. They know the effect it has. And because of that, it means that they are much more open to it. And I believe that their own children in the spirit world will be helping to bring through the children. I believe that. Now, I personally haven't lost a child. And as a medium, generally, I don't work with young children very often. I have to say that, I have to be honest, I was trying to think of how often I would say I work with children in terms of if I'm talking below the age of 18 or 16. And it's maybe 1 in 50 or less even than that. So if you like, if you were going to rank me against other mediums for bringing through a young child, I would argue that you probably better go to somebody else who does it routinely, because I'm probably not your best medium. And you won't ever know when booking a medium whether they're good at working with children or not. You don't know that. And that's why recommendation is so important. And, if people go to a medium and they get really good results, let others know. As I say, not every medium works with children. Some do a lot and some don't. And it's not that we're not capable of doing it. It's just that, if you like, it's just not a routine thing that happens. I'm sure that if I'm doing a demonstration in front of 50 people, there's multiple people in that audience who've lost children. I'm sure of it. But whoever comes forward for whatever reason isn't always the children. And again, it depends on the age of the child as well as to whether some mediums work with them. As mediums, we're sometimes taught not to bring forward in a public demonstration a stillbirth, miscarriage, because they never spent time on the earth, and therefore there is no proof we can bring that demonstrates that who they are. Because in a public demonstration of mediumship, generally we're looking to bring forward evidence that demonstrates survival, particularly within our spiritualist churches. It's important to recognize that. So in a private sitting, yes, it's fine. In a public demonstration, generally it's not recommended unless they're brought in by somebody else. Say you've lost a child, but your mum's in spirit. Your mum may come forward to connect, but then mum may reference bringing in the child, and the child comes forward. We call that an enabling communicator. But so mum effectively is the one who then is able to bring forward the child. As I say, we call that an enabling communicator. But it's very rare that in a demonstration, somebody would automatically link and say, I've got a child here that passed, that didn't reach the earth, that passed during the term of the pregnancy. It's very rare to see. And because of that, sometimes you find that some mediums believe we're not meant to bring through children. Some mediums believe we're not meant to bring through babies or bring through miscarriages or stillbirths, and they won't bring them forward. And if you like, that's their own mindset. Now, I know perfectly well that if a child connects to you, regardless of the age they passed, and in my last talk, I spoke about what age I believe the soul comes forward to join the fetus. And for me, I believe it's usually around about 13 weeks or so, in my view, my understanding. And so from that point onwards, the child was there, the child has a connection with you, the child will want to come back to be with you. But that's not everybody's understanding. And if some mediums don't believe in that, they won't bring children forward in that way. Again, I was taught not to bring babies forward, because how could a baby possibly communicate? But we have to remember that the baby does not stay as a baby, and the baby was a soul before it was born. It will continue to be a soul afterwards. It reverts back to being able to communicate. So it's crazy to say you can't bring a baby because a baby couldn't communicate at the moment of birth or when the age it passed. That doesn't make sense. You know, so if your child hadn't learned to talk, they can still communicate through a medium. Important to recognize that. But the medium has to be open to it. That's the other point. And what age will your child come forward through a medium? Generally, there's two thoughts here. First of all, the child will come at what the age the medium needs to recognize them as a child. So say your child passed age 2, 20 years ago, and you would now think of them maybe as grown up to 22. They're not going to come to the medium at age 22, because the medium would then get confused in presenting a 22-year-old. So generally, I always ask that I receive the loved one at the age they pass, whatever age that is. And then I open to who they are now, or what they want to present themselves as now. But sometimes they will come through at the age you want them, because that's how you'll recognize them. So there's the age the medium wants and the age you want. And those are the two ages that they could come forward for. But if I try to bring through your child that passed as a baby as a 22-year-old man, you may not accept it. So I will always start that this is how they are, but this is how they appear now. Aging in the spirit world, I went into that in quite a lot of detail in the last talk, so I won't go into it a great deal now, because you can refer back to the previous talk if you wish. So you may need to go several times to several different mediums to get somebody to come through, because as I said, there's no guarantee. Private sittings are always best. Gallery readings, there's competition. Demonstrations, there's competition. If there's 20 people in the room, 20 people have got 2 or 3 loved ones in mind they would all like to have, and all those people are in the mix as to who comes through. How they do it in spirit to determine who comes through, I don't really know. I don't know if they form an orderly queue. I don't know if they have a scrum and whoever gets the front first wins. Or I don't know if it's just who can figure out how the medium's mind works, and that's who comes forward first. I often joke that, or have they been camping out since 4 o'clock this morning, waiting for their turn to get in line to get through? I don't know. And I often have communicators just barge in and push in. So I think pushing in is possible as well, actually. So you'd be much better off choosing a private sitting with a medium. You'd be much better off on a one-on-one, because they're going to bring through your loved ones only. That's the point of a private sitting, private reading. It's for you, it's for your loved ones. And so you go for a private reading, and the first person who comes through is not your child, and you're disappointed. But actually, maybe that person has to come through, because had your child come through, and the energy and emotion of that for them and for you may be such it collapses the whole thing. So what happens is somebody else comes through first, if you like, to make sure everything's stable and good, and then they can come in without the emotion collapsing it all, or the emotion affecting it too much. So they're what we call enabling communicators. We always say at a sitting, be open to whoever comes forward. And I often know pretty quickly if the person I'm bringing forward is the person that the sitter wants. Because if it's not, you can see the disappointment. You can sense the disappointment that it's not the right one. And what I will do is I'll work with the first one, and then I'll say, I can feel there's somebody you want. So would you like to tell me who it is you would like? And if they'll say, I'd like you to bring through my son or my daughter, then okay, I send out the thoughts, would they like to come and work with me? And we'll see what happens. Sometimes it will work well, and sometimes it may be what I call a radio that's not quite tuned in as well as I'd like. Yes, I can get bits and pieces. You can recognize it's them, but it's not a really close, tight, solid link. And I have an analogy that all mediums wear like radio receivers, and in the spirit world, all our loved ones are communicators with their own unique radio station that they broadcast on. And we, as mediums, we can't work well across the entire range. We kind of have our band we cover. And if someone's on the edge of our band or falls outside of our band, it becomes harder, which is why you may need to visit several mediums, because there's no guarantees. Your loved ones have also got to be willing to come forward, wish to come forward, want to come forward. And generally they do, but there may be an occasion where they can't. But if you've been thinking of them and saying, I'm off to see a medium, I'm off to have a private reading, please come through, they'll have heard your thoughts. And generally they will try. Generally they will try that. But if you've never thought of them, and there's somebody in the family who's quite, on the edge of the family, and you've never thought of them, then you suddenly say, I'd like them in the reading. It may be a little bit harder because they've not heard your thoughts, they're not aware of it. And are they available? Are they busy? Who knows? So we've got to be open-minded. We've got to be open to what happens, and you've got to go with the flow. And as I say, mediums who are recommended, I do recommend that, especially mediums who've lost children themselves. I know several mediums who've lost children, and they're brilliant at bringing forward through children because they're just so open to it. And I believe, as I said, that their own children do help the process. So I've spoken enough, haven't I? I've told you enough. I think we should do a meditation. What do you think?
Could I break in very quickly and just let people know we're hoping to have Martin on our recommended reading medium list, but we do have on Helping Parents Heal on the site, all of our mediums have recommendations from parents. So you can go through and take a look at who likes this person for this reason, who likes this person for this reason. And when you talk about the fact that when you get there, sometimes the kids will be able to answer the questions, sometimes not. One thing that I've always done when I go to a reading is that the night before, I write a long list of questions for Morgan, and I tell him, okay, I'd really like for you to answer this question and this question and this question. And 9 times out of 10, those questions will be answered without me even showing the questions to anyone. So it's good to be able to prepare for it as much as possible. And Martin is saying that he's not necessarily as good at being able to connect with very young kids. Some of the, and I agree with him, especially mediums who have had children pass themselves. A lot of times they are very good at that because they've got a whole team of all these kids who are with their kids who are helping out as well. So look into all of the different mediums who are available, and then also do mediumship work with people like Martin. He's excellent at being able to help us connect with our kids in spirit ourselves. So, sorry. Yes, let's move into the guided meditation. That would be wonderful.
So just before I get into that, I will say one thing with your questions, because this is something that people do. They write a big, long list of questions and they come in and they ask you all these questions.
Oh, I'm not saying that they should ask.
No.
No. Just write them down. You're asking your son or your daughter. Don't ask the person that you're seeing. I agree with you, because that's not going to, that's not coming from the right place that you want it to come from. You want your son or daughter to be thinking about these questions all night long and ready to answer them when you get into the meeting with and I don't know, maybe that's not something that you think would be effective, Martin, to do that.
Well, what I would say is, as I wasn't saying you would say, tell them, ask the medium this list of questions, but you know, I get that a lot. Some people come in with a great big list of questions, and usually the questions are things like, where is the money? And where is the missing money? And it's like, and the problem you have then is it triggers the medium's mind. Or another very common one is, my child died in suspicious circumstances. Was it an accident? Was it murder? Was it? And it's like, oh, you know, once you start bringing that energy in, it's very, very hard, because psychically we tune into the person opposite us and we pick up their worries, their fears, their beliefs. And so I would rather not have any questions, and we allow spirit to bring what they bring. And then it's down to them. Can the medium receive their thoughts and get their thoughts across to you well? And so, you know, they may be trying to get the point across to the medium, but the medium may not be getting it. So there's always a translation issue as well. So yeah. So whatever you do not bring a long list of questions and stick it in front of the medium, because the medium go, oh my God.
No, leave it at home. Maybe even burn it. Maybe you can just write it up and then have it through the night. And then the next morning you burn it and then go to the medium, but don't bother the medium with the questions. I agree. So anyway.
Meditation.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do is to make yourselves comfortable. So this is a meditation to meet your loved ones in spirit, for you guys to meet your children in spirit. I developed it for a special candle service in my local spiritualist church, where we remember our loved ones in spirit every year. And it's a meditation I've been doing for, I forget how many years now, maybe 10. So it's very powerful as a healing meditation. You can, if you've only got one person you want to meet, that's great. If you have a couple, you can also squeeze a couple in as well into the meditation, or you can come back to it whenever you wish. So it depends on how many loved ones you wish to connect with. And I know that some people will listen to this on YouTube as well. And I will say, if you are watching or listening to this on YouTube in the replay, then please don't do it when you're driving. Don't try and do the meditation when you're driving, using machinery, or any other activity that needs your full attention. It goes without saying, doesn't it? But you'd be surprised. So what you need to do is find yourself somewhere comfortable to sit. Because and I would say, don't cross anything, because if we're sitting for 10 minutes, you may cut off the blood supply, and we don't want that. So find somewhere to comfortably sit. So find a comfortable place to sit. And now just allow your eyes to comfortably close. Just allow your eyes to close. And bring your mind to the regular rhythm of your breathing. Bring your mind to your breathing. And with each breath, breathe out any stress or tension. With each in-breath, breathe in peace and relaxation. Breathing out any stress or tension. and breathing in peace and relaxation, and just allowing a sense of relaxation to begin to flow through your body. And now I'd like you to think of your loved one in spirit. Invite them to draw close to you and send out your loving thoughts to them. Bring them into your mind. Remember positive, happy times with them, inviting them to draw close to you. And knowing that your love is drawing them close to you, knowing that it's your thoughts of them that draw them to you. And you may feel them, you may see them, or you may just sense them close. So you may feel them, see them, or just sense them close. But know that they are close to you. Know that they have come to be with you. So now that you're with them, you can say whatever needs to be said to them to help you and to help them. You can express whatever needs to be said to your loved ones in spirit. And you can open up to their thoughts and words. You may receive them as thoughts, words, images, or just a knowing of what they wish to communicate to you too. So I shall leave you for a little while in their presence. If you have some more than one in spirit you wish to communicate with, then you may invite another forward to work with. If you have more than one in spirit you wish to work with, you can invite another forward to work with as well. And once you've communicated all that needs to be said, just sit with them. Sit with their presence. Enjoy their presence and their love. So I'll now leave you for a few moments to be present with your loved ones. In a few moments, it will be time to say goodbye. So you may thank them for coming and say whatever you need to say to them as you say your goodbyes. But know that you can go back and blend with them whenever you wish. Know that you can repeat this exercise whenever you wish. So it's now time to say goodbye. And slowly begin to return to full awareness. Slowly become aware of the chair you're sitting on, become aware of your body. Slowly bringing yourself back to full awareness. With each breath becoming more and more alert. Bringing yourself back to full awareness. So that you open your eyes. When you open your eyes, every part of you will be here back in the room. Every part of you will be fully wide awake. So bringing yourself back now to full awareness. Bringing yourself back now to your full waking state. So it looks to me like everybody is wide awake. Are you all wide awake? So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that you found it helpful. I know it can be quite a profound meditation, quite healing. I find it can be very healing to be able to spend that time with our loved ones. And the best part of it is you can go back and do it whenever you wish. And if you listen to this replay, you'll find it in the middle of the replay as well. So, does anyone have any questions on that meditation?
There are a lot of questions, but let me see about the meditation itself. I think that people might not have had a chance. People are saying that it's very interesting. Let's see. There was a question that was, Susan is saying, all I felt were tears rolling down, which is actually very, very healing. That's a good.
Absolutely. Just being in their presence is healing. Saying whatever needs to be said is healing. And expressing whatever emotions need to be expressed is healing. All of it.
And Roseanne is saying well, Robin and Roseanne are saying me too. So it looks like a lot of people had tears rolling down. Are the kids sad when we have to close or leave the meditation?
No, because they're not separated from you. You feel that you're separated from them, but they're with you all the time. They're not separated from you, so they won't be sad. If you're sad, then they may be sad that you're sad, but they're not sad, if that makes sense, if I haven't complicated it too much for you there. And I can see there's a question there as well that said, is it okay that I can never say goodbye?
Exactly.
I did say I'll see you later. And yeah, absolutely. Everything is okay. Whatever needs to be expressed, however you express it, is okay.
Andrea is saying, does Martin feel our kids during the meditation? Do you feel the kids in a meditation like that with the people that you're with, or do you are you able to kind of block that out since you're?
I feel them with the people, but not with me, because they've not come to be with me. So
Yeah.
I feel that they've drawn close to you. I can sense them there with you. It's easier in the room if I'm in a room with people as well. But of course, they're not coming to be with me. They're coming to be with you. And I've got to keep my full awareness, of course, because, you know, I'm actually in presenting the meditation. And I hope it wasn't too quiet for you, because I'm a trained hypnotherapist and I'm very used to working with people, taking them into a meditation and a trance state. And I often find I end up dropping my voice, and I have to try and remember not to let it go too far. So I hope you all heard me okay.
I think we all did.
Perfect.
Which is wonderful. Perfect. And Jessica Aza is saying, do our kids miss us the way that we miss them? Do they wish they were physically here with us? Thank you. Could you maybe just tell a little bit about that?
That's a difficult question to answer, because I'm not in the spirit world yet. So do they miss you? Absolutely. But do they miss you the way you miss them? I would say probably not, in that we feel the separation from them, but they don't feel as separated from us because they can be close to us whenever they wish. And they're aware of our thoughts and our communication, which is why the communication is so important. Yes, they'll be sad that they're not physically able to connect with us. Yes, there'll be some degree of, missing us, absolutely, in the physical. We miss them because we're so used to the physical world. But they, of course, miss us in the same way. But they are where they are in the spirit world, and they can't change things. And they will accept where they are, and they will accept the process. For us, it can be much harder to accept that we've lost them, and they're much harder to accept where they are. So it's, as I say, it's a very difficult question to answer without, we have to take it on a case-by-case basis. And also, how long have they been in spirit? And also, what is their personality like? We all know that people cope here much better than others. And I'm sure it's the same in the spirit world also.
Well, I know for sure that they're all hanging out with each other, so they're having a blast that way. But I also have heard that they can actually feel the touch when they're touching us. They can feel the hugs when they're hugging us. We don't necessarily feel it, although I feel very fortunate that I do feel Morgan hugging me from time to time. And so I think that the more that we go down this path of connection with our kids, the more we'll get that in return, that feeling, especially when we're in a meditation and being able to be really close to them. But there are other questions that are very fascinating. Augusto is asking, and I think that this is a good question to kind of understand about our kids on the other side. If on the other side there is no time, our children should not grow up. So could you maybe explain why they do, or is there a purpose when you're doing a reading that you see them in different stages of their lives, or maybe just explain a little bit more about that?
Okay, let me take a step back. So the idea that there is no time in the spirit world, I disagree with, I'm afraid. I'm just going to disagree with that point straight away. What I will say is time in the spirit world is not the same as time here, but time is sequential, that things happen sequentially, one after the other. So because of that, it's, people say that the past exists with the present, exists with the future, and it's all intermingled. It's not. It's sequential. You can't be an old person, a young person, and all sorts of other things all molded into one. It's not. You are where you are. We're all on a journey, which is like a linear journey, and we pass through points on that journey, but we don't go back to them. We don't coexist there. We exist in the moment we are now. And I believe that to be the same in the spirit world. And they're on a journey of their own development in spirit. So the issue about growing up, I spoke about that at quite a bit of detail in the last one. To touch upon it briefly, people grow up according to their expectations, according to your expectations, and according to the expectations of all those who belong to them, both in this world and the spirit world. So if you lose a child, say aged 5, and you may have a great deal of regret, they never had a chance to go through all their school years, never had a chance to go through university years, never had a chance to do all of that, and the child themselves wanted to do all of that, they still can in the spirit world. And but whether they have to wait a whole year before going from year 5 to year 6, and then wait a whole year before going to year 6 to year 7, I don't believe it's like that. You spend the time you need, you enjoy it while it's there, you do what you do, and it flows sequentially, but it doesn't have to be on linear time or earth years, if that makes sense to you. But they still have the opportunity to go through those experiences linearly. And technically, we could argue that spirit does not have any age, because we are an ageless soul, a timeless, ageless soul when we're in the spirit world. But we have an identity. But the identity we had was the identity we are here, and we move forward with that same identity. So at this moment in time, I'm Martin Twycross. I'm a certain age. I won't tell you how old I am, but if I was to keel over any second now, I'm not hoping that's not going to happen. but I would still continue on in the spirit world as Martin Twycross at that same age. Then I would change. I could revisit my loved ones at whatever age I choose. I could change. I could say, I'm not very happy with my physical body. I'd like to have it in its prime. I could present myself to other people at however they knew me. So we have that degree of flexibility. You're not kind of locked in any age at all. Hence, spirit may come forward and present themselves to you here at the age that you've expected them to grow up to in the spirit world. They will show the age to the medium at the age they passed, so the medium understands the age of passing, because that is good evidence. So it's not, again, it's not an easy question to answer, and I hope that that's kind of given you some clues. But also there is the previous talk when I did go into it in a lot more detail about how they grow up, develop, whether they go to school, university, college, have jobs, etc. And the answer is they can do whatever they wish to do. They have more opportunities in spirit than they have here. Absolutely.
That's beautiful. I think Irene has a
Sure, I'd love to know, Martin, in all of the readings you've done through all these years, has there been a consistent message from spirit that's come through?
Oh, absolutely. It's a message of love. It's a message of, you know, they come because of that connection of love, because we've spent time with them and they spent time with us. It's that energy of love that draws them back. There's always a consistent message that they're there to support us. They're there to help us. They're there to basically do what they would have done if they'd been here in this lifetime. Generally, they also grow and develop. They acknowledge their faults. They get to see their lives from a different perspective. They get to see where maybe they'd been selfish. They get to see where they were happy, and they'll get to see where there's room for improvement. And they will often come back to apologize for their faults, but understanding that they are improving now. Sometimes people who weren't always supportive of us here will come back from the spirit world with a message of, I wasn't supportive enough here, but I am now. I'm here for you now. And it's just that love. Absolutely. That is the consistent message that forever comes through.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That
Okay,
is-
Elizabeth, I'll turn it back to you I see that we have some more
Okay,
questions
well,
popping up.
There's a really good question that's been asked over and over again. And I know you answered it last time, but it's so important to kind of allow people to know. You did say something about the fact that they can do whatever they want to, but Sherry's asking, have you ever shared what our children and loved ones are doing on the other side and what it is like there? Also, do our children miss us the way that we miss them? But from what I've understood from hearing you, from hearing all different people speak about the afterlife, they can pretty much do whatever they want to, but maybe you could be a little bit more specific.
And when people ask me, what's my loved one doing in the spirit world? I've got to say, I have no idea, if I'm honest. If I'm brutally honest, I don't know. Unless they bring forward something to show what they're doing. But then again, would we actually understand very well what they're doing in a world that is of creation of the mind? When you go to sleep and you dream, you create with your mind. And the spirit world is a creation of the mind. If you never had a chance to learn to ski here or go on a skiing holiday, you can go skiing in the spirit world. It's a creation of mind, both individual mind and collective mind. So basically, all those who love skiing can create mountains and ski lifts and skis and good weather, whatever weather they want, black runs, red runs, whatever they want. It's all created. It will all be created through the power of mind, through those who have a passion, a love for it. They'll create it. And people say, well, what are they doing in the spirit world? Are they a doctor? And if I said to you, you could do anything. If I said to you, you don't have to do a day job, you don't have to earn money, you can do anything. The chances are you'd explore a whole range of things. And that's what I believe they do too. And if I said to you, you never had to earn money to pay rent, mortgage, any of that, you don't have to sleep, because sleep is of the physical, unless you really want to. You don't have to do any of that. You probably choose to do something that fulfills you on the soul level, you'd probably choose to do something that helps other people, something that is meaningful. And I believe that's what they do in the spirit world. All of that. They can choose whatever they wish. If they wish to go and learn, they may go and learn. If they wish to try something, they can go and try something. But very rarely would they ever present themselves that I'm doing this and this only, because there's so much to do, so many opportunities. It's very limiting. It meets our need here to think of them in that way. Oh, they've got a good job in the spirit world, or oh, they've got a degree in the spirit world. But actually, they might come back and tell you, hey, guess what? I've done 12 degrees simultaneously, but they're even better than your degrees because whatever. But they don't need to. And also the needs of the ego fall away. The ego likes to compete. The ego likes to have things, and the ego wants the title. The soul knows it doesn't matter. The soul knows that what truly matters is love, is all the spiritual things. And so the soul doesn't really need that neither, depending on the level that the soul is at in development, of course, because we are all souls going through a series of lessons guiding us to greater understanding of self and development. So again, people who come here, we sometimes say they're old souls, we say they're young souls. The earth is a melting pot of all different types of people, some of whom are expressing their divine soul spiritual qualities, and some of whom have not discovered them yet. Those people who you may feel are not spiritual in the least, we're all created the same, with the same spiritual qualities within, from one creator, one source, one divine, call it what you will. But we're all at different stages of unfolding them, connecting with them, expressing them. So that's important to recognize as well. And the spirit world is no different. They're still on that journey in the spirit world. The moment we pass the spirit, we don't instantly become enlightened. We don't instantly become the Dalai Lama or Mother Teresa or someone spiritual or Jesus. We're on our own journey. And those qualities have to be unfolded through work, through lessons, through experience. So it's all about gaining experience. It's a world of experience. So I probably haven't answered that the way you want me to. But
well, it's interesting. And one of my questions that's follow-up is, are kids able to speak multiple languages when they get over there to be able to communicate? Because I think it's through the mind and through thoughts. So will they be able to communicate with kids that they've met from other countries who might not speak the same language? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. So the language of spirit is the language of the mind. It's just the thought is sent out and understood. So there is no need for language as we have here. So they don't have to go away and get a whole bunch of languages under their belt. They don't need Google Translate. They don't need a Babel fish, for those who loved Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, if you even know what that is. That was something that translated all known languages. You put in your ear and you instantly understood everything. If you like, they have that spiritually by being in the spirit world. Anything that anybody speaks, anything that anybody says is understood. And thoughts are instantly understood. And one thing that you'll probably be glad to know is it's impossible to lie in the spirit world, because when we lie, our thoughts do not match the words coming out of our mouth, and our thoughts do not match the truth. The truth is out there in the spirit world, like the X-Files. It's there. It's in your energy. When you speak, it's there. So all those people who lie here or tell white lies or learn not to tell what they're thinking or hide it, or in the spirit world, it's all visible. We may as well get used to being honest here, because when we get to the spirit world, we'll find that actually everybody knows what we're thinking. Some people here who have made a habit of lying will get a shock in the spirit world. And it's not possible really to hurt people, because if you have a motive to hurt somebody, they know it instantly, and they'd be like, yeah, right, I'm off. And there is no physical. There's nothing to destroy physically. You can't punch somebody physically because they don't have a body that is physical. It's not possible. So it's wonderful to know all of that, even though I've gone completely off track there. But yeah,
that's not off track. I want to know, though, before we run out of time, I know that you do development courses, and they're very reasonable and easy to follow as well. And maybe you can tell us, do you have to be a certain type of person to be able to succeed in one of your development courses? Or are there criteria? And maybe you could just tell us a little bit about them.
So yeah, so who can develop? Everybody, absolutely. There are no, all that you need to have to develop is an interest. That's the key thing. If you have no interest whatsoever, you probably won't develop. Like anything, to develop ourselves psychically and mediumistically, we have to be interested. We have to give it the time. We have to give it the commitment. It's like anything in life. If you want to be a great artist, but you can't be bothered to spend the time trying to do the art, it won't happen. If you want to be a great musician, but you don't want to spend the time learning your scales and learning your instrument, it won't happen. So again, it's it's the time we give it. But can everybody be a maestro? Can everybody be someone fantastic? No. We all have different degrees. I would love to be a fantastic musician, a fantastic guitarist. I used to play guitar, and my guitar tutor told me, Martin, I feel really bad taking your money because you're so lousy at playing the guitar. Perhaps you should stop coming to see me, because I've not had students in the category that you're in. But I told them, no, I enjoy it. And even though I'll never be able to play like other people, I still enjoy it. And it's the same if you want to do spiritual and mediumistic development to help your awareness, to help you become more aware of your loved ones, you can. But will it mean that you become a medium who works in the public domain, or that you're doing lots of sit-ins for people? Not necessarily. But I believe everybody can work with it to some degree. So for me, the courses I offer are primarily theoretical. I don't do a great deal of practical courses. The main reason being is that there's practice sessions everywhere. But often I find that there's not many teachers who teach the theoretical basis or foundations particularly well. And I like to teach the theoretical foundations and basis. And if I did a course for practice, it's limited how many can come through the door for that course. But if I teach you the foundations, we can get as many as needed. So it's accessible to everybody. So generally, I don't tell you how to practice it, but there are many, many, many tutors out there who do. But if you want to understand how it works, you understand the basis of it, then generally the courses I offer will help you. And a very common thing I get is people say to me, I've done so many courses with so many mediums and so many circles and so many classes, and I never really understood what I was doing. But I got your fundamentals course, or your foundation course, or it explains it. I've got it now. Now I know how it works. Now it's been explained to me. And that always frustrated me, because I've got a very scientific background and I like to understand how things work. And if you're telling me to connect to spirit, you better give me some ways of doing it. But the common scenario for many people, many tutors, is to just tell you to just do it, connect, just do it. And you're like, how do I connect? I've got no idea how to connect. And or they say, you just do this visualization, and this visualization may work for them, but not for you. Whereas I'll give you 10 visualizations and 5 or 6 different mechanisms you can add to them to help the connection. But the hard work is you've got to go away and put it into practice and find out what works for you, because each one of us has to unfold our own abilities for ourselves. I cannot make anybody a medium. Mediumship is always unfolded from within. I cannot make anybody aware of their loved ones. They have to become aware of it themselves through doing the work, the development. So I hope that helps.
It does. And I wanted to just ask you, you have ongoing courses, or do you have something that's starting in a little bit? Is there anything that I could post underneath this YouTube so that people will know that there's something that they will be able to join, other than, I guess, your website? And are the courses on the product site? That's what I was going to ask you as well.
Yeah, so all my courses are available on the product site. There's my main site actually links to it as well. But
Okay.
But what I would say is that I'm probably not like a lot of other mediumship teachers as well, in that I don't repeat the courses. What I do is I teach them once, and because they're mainly theoretical based, then we record them and the replays are available as well. So if you're lucky, you catch it live, but then the replay is always available. And one thing I'm very aware of myself with my own teaching is that when I do a course, I really do a deep dive into the course. And it, if you like, it preoccupies me for the entire time I'm working on it. And I always feel like if I had to go back and teach it again, you'd never get it the same, because all that thought process that went into delivering the first one, if you like, you'd get a bit of a shadow of the first one. It wouldn't be the same. It would, the first one would be 100%. If I did it again, you'd maybe get 60, 70% of it, because it has an energy and a power to it really in the moment. So people say to me, when you're going to do the first course, the basics again? And I say, I'm not, because I've got so many more courses I'm planning to run that I move on to the next one. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand what I'm saying?
But the basics classes are available on your site as well. People can take those by watching the recordings. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So over time, I originally started developing videos. The videos I taught actually in my local church, I videoed those classes, and then they became the basis of my study program as well. I added an extra tutorial to like 30 questions all about this topic that people wanted to know about. So we drill into the material even deeper, and I give suggestions for how to work with it in the study program, which is kind of the flagship. And then I started doing courses that added bits to it. So example, meditation and sitting for spirit. I then had a whole course on that, and we expand it from a 2-hour class into a 9 or 10-hour course. And so each part kind of takes something and expands upon it and adds to it. The only exception is the fundamentals course is very similar to the module 1 and 2, and also, I guess, mediumship classes 2 to 6. There's a little bit of replication. Everything else there's no crossover at all. But there is just a little bit of crossover. But if you just want to get an understanding of the fundamentals of mediumship, then the fundamentals of mediumship course is probably the easiest one to go to. That's 4 2-hour classes that kind of give you the big picture overview of how it all works. And something else I do as well is, if I know it, I teach it. There's not going to be another class somewhere else where I give you a bit more. You know, if I'm teaching about meditation, everything I know you get. I don't hold anything back. And I tend to teach it at once because, for example, at the moment, I'm teaching all about private readings, and people ask lots of questions, and I compile them all, and we've got huge areas to cover on private readings. And that is the entirety of my knowledge at this moment in time. Don't hold anything back. You get the lot. And if you come to me in 2 years' time, then maybe my ideas may have shifted slightly, but I probably still couldn't give you much more than I give you in that moment in time. And so people who do the classes do say that I'm a very generous teacher, in that I offer as much as I can. If I know it, you can have it.
That's wonderful. And the fact that you've had such an extensive background at Arthur Findlay and all of these other wonderful institutions in the UK. And I do think it's really fun to be able to see the difference between the UK mediums and then maybe the North American mediums. There is a big difference just in kind of philosophy, what they do and everything, but it creates a wonderful mix of knowledge. And what you're talking about is so excellent, to be able to find all of this information in one place. So that's on your website, it's on your product site, and I'll be sure to put that on the YouTube video. And is there anything else that you'd like to say to us before we close? We have just a few more minutes here. Martin, and it's been so wonderful having you here.
No, it's been a pleasure to be back with you again. It's always so enjoyable to come and connect. And I sincerely hope that you found the meditation helpful. If you have, you can do it again in your own time as often as you wish. You can have that connection. Remember that when we're not separated, it's just that we often just don't create the moment to have that connection. Yes, we can talk to our loved ones in spirit a great deal, but when we make that time just to sit and, if you like, formalize that connection, it becomes so much more powerful. So I highly recommend you do practices like that. And I know that many other mediums offer things like that as well. And what I like is that we're all different. All of us come with a different set of knowledge. We all come with a different understanding. We all see the world through our own experience, through our own beliefs. And I know that my beliefs and experience may be different to others. So recognize that everybody's belief has value. It takes all of it to make a world. And I'm not saying that what I teach is any better, different to anybody else. I offer it in the hope that it helps people. If it does, that is wonderful, that is beautiful. If what I say doesn't resonate with you and I'm not your kind of medium or teacher, that doesn't bother me neither. I don't mind. If what I say doesn't make sense, I always say in all my teachings, feel free to let it go. I will not be offended. If what I say does not resonate with you, let it go.
Yeah, I just wanted to also add, Elizabeth, to let everyone know that Martin is active on Facebook, and he put some nice live YouTubes up with questions and answers. So go ahead and friend Martin on Facebook, which I have already for a while now.
One thing I will say is, sadly, Facebook limits you to 5,000 friends, and I think I'm at 4,980, and it's challenging now.
Uh-oh.
But you can follow my page. You can follow my page. There's nothing hidden on my page. So everything I post, you'll still be able to see. And I do have a Facebook. I have a Facebook page as well as my personal profile, so you can like the Facebook page as well. Facebook, effectively like a business page. So that's where I'm gonna have to start rooting everybody, because I've run out of friends, I'm afraid. It's very hard to try and work out who to defriend, and I don't like to do that.
That's a very hard thing to do, I'm sure. I just want to tell you that people are saying, sounds great. I'd love to take the classes. I love that. He gives all that he has into that one class and moves on, loves it. But what a wonderful human being. Irene is saying he's also on Facebook, so friend him or just join Martin's page. Other people are saying, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Very informative. Thank you, thank you. And then Maggie is saying, thank you, Martin, and thanks for telling us they hid things last time I saw you. It allowed me to find my missing earrings. I don't know if you remember, but that was on the last meeting that we were on together. So thank you for doing that, Martin. This was great. Thank you. Wonderful information, Martin. Thank you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Martin. You are an amazing mentor. And then Anna saying, wow, thank you. So humble and yet so great. And the meditation was wonderful. So at the end of these meetings, we always ask everyone to go ahead and unmute. And let's see, I'm sorry,
everyone can unmute. I took care of it.
Unmute themselves and say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Yes, have a good
you, ladies.
Bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Irene.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So good to see everybody.